Hey folks, how you doing? Dave McRae here. I want to talk a bit about Canadian stereotypes today. That's what I want to talk about, folks. Normally I'm talking about Star Wars and The Force Awakens, which comes out next week, by the way. Anyway, so let's talk about Canadian stereotypes. Now, for those of you who don't know, I am Canadian, all right? I was born in Toronto, Ontario. We Canadians tend to lose the second T when we say Toronto. We say Toronto. And I moved to Ottawa, which is our nation's capital, about 5 hours east from here, where I grew up, essentially. That's where I grew up through my teenage years, went to high school there, but I moved back to Toronto to pursue my career as a professional voice actor and independent filmmaker, okay? Toronto, for those of you who don't know, is the third largest film and TV production center in all of North America. Bet you didn't know that, right? Yes, exactly. The first being Los Angeles and Hollywood, obviously, right? That's pretty self-explanatory. The second being New York City, and the third being Toronto. Toronto is also the fourth largest city in all of North America. Bet you didn't know that either, and now you do. So anyway, let's talk about Canadian stereotypes. Folks, look, everybody's got stereotypes. Every country in the world, the people of that country, we all have stereotypes. You Americans have stereotypes. All of you over in the UK, England, Ireland, Scotland, you all have stereotypes. Japan has stereotypes. China has stereotypes. India has stereotypes. Australia has stereotypes. Some are true, some aren't. Some are racist, some aren't. Some are good, some are bad. But the fact of the matter is that I've noticed, being in the biz, I've noticed that, and there's a couple that I want to talk a bit about today. I've noticed that one of the things that just frustrates me about the Canadian stereotype, especially when it's coming from the American entertainment industry, okay, is we are more often than not all the time, but we Canadians, whether we are characters in cartoons, whether we are a live action character in a movie or in a, not usually a movie, but usually in a situated comedy, and I get it, maybe it's for the comedic purposes. But more often than not, ladies and gentlemen, we are portrayed like we are 8 bricks shy of load. And that's what just pisses me off, okay? Whenever you see us, a cartoon character or, in a show, we are always portrayed like this. How you doing, eh? What's going on, eh? What's happening, eh? Welcome to Canada, eh? Yeah, I know what you mean, eh? Well, it's a boot time. It's a boot time. Want to go outside? Hey, let's go outside. It's a boot time. Hey, 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 hey. Nobody sounds like that here. Nobody talks like that north of the border. Ladies and gentlemen, that doesn't mean there aren't certain people, maybe a few Canadian hicks somewhere, that really sound like that. But let's face it, you Americans know better than anybody. Every country's got their hicks, right? But nobody sounds like that. Now, I recognize that a large part of the majority of that stereotype is thanks to Dave Thomas and Rick Moranis from the 1983 film Strange Brew. Okay, where they play Bob and Doug McKenzie, and they talk like this through the whole movie, eh? What's going on, eh? And A is like, every 5 seconds in a sentence. Now, where you might hear a bit of that Canadian accent is from those Canadians who live on the East Coast, specifically in the Canadian province of Newfoundland, okay? Where people from Newfoundland tend to have a bit of that stereo, not how you doing, eh? What's going on, eh? Not like that, but they tend to have a bit of, you'll hear more of the aboat. In their abouts, you know what I mean? You'll hear a bit of that, and they tend to kind of, they might use the word a maybe a bit more. So you'll hear it from that a bit more. But the rest of the country, folks, you don't cross the border from Buffalo, okay, into Niagara. And all of a sudden, everybody's going, welcome to Canada. You drive across the border and you come to the Canadian border guard. Hey, welcome to Canada, eh? What's going on, eh? Where you coming from, eh? Oh, you're coming from New York, eh? Well, how long you staying, eh? What's in your trunk, eh? Got anything you need to, tell me about, eh? Got any guns, eh? We Canadians don't have guns. We don't like guns. We're just a big piece of fucking deal. Nobody sounds like that here. Nobody sounds like that here. Now, capitalizing on that stereotype that just frustrates me, the stereotype that we're all portrayed like we're 8 bricks shy of load, okay, and we have a grade 1 education, or something like that. Another thing that ticks me off, capitalizing on that, is the way that Americans think we say a boot. We don't say a boot. Like a boot, B-O-O-T, like a boot on your foot. Nobody says a boot. Nobody says a boot. Okay, now where it comes from, or no, sorry, not where it comes from, but what you're actually hearing is probably more a boat. Okay, B-O-A-T. All right, now I don't say a boat. Okay, I say about. All right, and I'm Canadian, born and raised in Toronto. Okay, and I know lots of Canadians who say out and about. All right, but having said that, I do know Canadians and people who live in Toronto and across all that. I have heard the a boat. Okay, and it's more of that they're just not opening their mouths as yeah, I guess it's about time. I need to, and you might hear that a bit, but you're not ever going to come to Canada and hear, how you doing, eh? It's a boot time you got here, eh? Nobody sounds like that. It makes us sound so dumb, like everybody. And it's not like you're portraying a Canadian hick. Like, for example, if I was to say to you Americans who are watching this video, if I was to go, well, what's going on? Welcome to the U.S. How you doing there, eh? Hey, it's a nice day. It's a lovely sunny day sitting on my porch with my shotgun. You know what I'm saying? I'm portraying what you Americans already think of as a typical stereotypical Southern hick or something like that, right? You're not portraying. I mean, that's not how we're portrayed. That's, how you doing, eh? That's just Canadian. That's just Canadian. You cross the border, oh, hey, what's going on? Hey, welcome, hey, boot, 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 hey. It's not like you're portraying a specific, niche area of being a Canadian. No, that's just Canadian. That's just Canada. You're from Canada, you're, hey, what's going on, hey? Oh, you're from New York. Well, how you doing? What's the Empire State Building like? You could be like, what? I don't know. Nobody in New York sounds like that, So, that's one of my beefs, folks, is just this idea that we are, as I said, 8 bricks shy of load with a grade 1 education, and we all sound like we don't know our asses from our elbows. It's just so frustrating when the first thing they go to is the a and a boot and oot. And it's like nobody talks like that. Nobody talks like that, okay? Just tone it down. Make us sound at least half educated. Can you bump our education from at least, the first grade to, I don't know, the 5th grade or something? Can you help us out a little bit here? The other stereotype, which is not true, is that we live in a cold climate all year round, and Canada is this bleak, vast, winter desert of igloos and dog sleds. Folks, Canada is a 4-seasoned country. Okay, we have winter, summer, spring, and fall. We are a 4-seasoned country, and 9 times out of 10, our summers are brutally hot, especially in Southern Ontario. Now, I can't speak for the rest of the country particularly, but in Southern Ontario, where I'm from, and where I am right now, we can get scorchingly hot summers because of the humidity, something you don't get really out in California. We get, and it's not unprecedented to look at the weather report and see that Toronto and Ontario and some other parts of Canada are getting hotter summers than California, than Florida, than Vegas. Okay, now that doesn't mean that we're getting it hot every day, every week, but it's not unprecedented for that to happen. We are a 4-season country. You don't cross the border. It could be, 108 degrees in Buffalo, New York, and you cross the border into Niagara, Canada, and all of a sudden, it's cold here. Oh my God. Folks, it doesn't happen, okay? It doesn't happen. We are a 4-seasoned country. We're like Chicago, we're like Illinois, we're like New Hampshire, we're like Buffalo, we're like New York, okay? A 4-seasoned country. That's what we are. Not that New York's a country. I'm saying that you experience 4 seasons in New York. That's what we experience here. We experience hot summers and we experience cold winters, all right? We're not all the time, okay? Right now, look, it's the 9th of December, and outside right now, it's about 50-something degrees out. It's cool, yeah, because it's December. It's winter. It's cool. But it's not freezing. Oh, and there's no snow on the ground. There's grass. I can open my door right now, look at the beautiful green grass just sitting there. All right? You don't cross the border and all of a sudden, you know, we're not, welcome to Canada. You know, that's not what's going on here. And finally, a stereotype, you know, is, well, I guess this sort of stems from what I was just talking about, is that, folks, you know, Toronto, where I live, which, you know, as I said to you, is the third largest film and TV production center in all of North America, the fourth largest city in North America, the largest city in Canada. You can plop somebody from who's never been to Canada, never been to the United States. You can plop them right in the middle of downtown Toronto amongst all of the big skyscrapers in Toronto, and tell them they're in Chicago or New York. And unless they're looking at something that gives it away, some sort of Canadian brand name or a Canadian bank, or, you know, the CN Tower, which of course clearly says you're in Toronto. If you're not seeing any of that, you could plop them right downtown Toronto and tell them they're in Chicago or New York, and they'd believe it. You're like, yeah, okay, great. You know, we're not this bleak, vast country that doesn't have anything, all right? Which is why Hollywood shoots a lot of movies in Toronto and says it's New York or Chicago, because you can. It's cheaper to shoot up here, and we have the big skyscrapers and the subways and the streetcars and the buses and the taxis and the people. Toronto's a city of nearly 3 million people, folks. There's 6 million people in the GTA, which is the Greater Toronto Area, okay? We're not this vast, ridiculous kumbaya, my lord, where you cross and everybody's, welcome to Canada, eh? I'm not saying that we're not nice. I'm just saying that I'm tired of the stereotype that we are this beautiful, loving, you know, that nothing bad ever happens here. That's basically what I'm trying to say. It's bullshit, okay? We're a country of nearly 40 million people. Now, I understand that's practically the population of California, but still, 40 million people is 40 million people. And, you know, we have murders, we have crime, we have problems just as much as every country does. So basically what I'm trying to say is, folks, after this huge rant in this video, is that we are more alike than we are different. We are not as culturally different than you might have been led to believe we are. That doesn't mean we don't have major differences, and that doesn't mean that our differences aren't maybe better, and maybe some of our differences are not as good. But we are not this bleak, vast, cold, dead country that you cross the border and, welcome to Canada, what's going on, eh? My name's Dave McRae, folks. Are you watching Star Wars next week? Comment below and let me know. Comment below and let me know, what are some of your stereotypes? If you're American watching this, what are some of the stereotypes that you absolutely hate? You know, you think, oh my God, I mean, yes, there's a stereotype is a stereotype for a reason, but that's not how we are down here. That's not what no, that's not true, or that's not this. You know, comment below and let me know, what stereotypes frustrate you that for the most part, it's not true. My name's Dave McRae. Peace out.